Good morning, TikTok. This is the old history teacher from coming from home today on this winter weather day out of work, school. And I'm here to do some comparisons again to as history repeats itself pretty much directly now between the 1930s Germany under the Nazis and today's government in 2025 under Donald Trump. Now, I've made other comparisons in the past, but I'm going to be a little specific today. In 1933, Hitler is a convicted felon. He had staged an insurrection in 1923 where a bunch of his thuggish, drunken people were protesting and angry and having a meeting about the government and what they should do, and got riled up and tried to stage a coup, the beer hall push. That failed. Almost 5 years later, Hitler was sentenced to 5 years in prison, but only served a very short term in prison. Maybe I've seen two different numbers: 3 months or 9 months. Don't know which is official. Didn't take the time to verify it. The point is, he served a short time writing his book in what at that time would have been considered a country club prison. By all standards, it was a castle where he was effectively under a form of house arrest. So, 2024, 25, President Trump is a convicted felon, is under indictment for crimes including insurrection or fomenting the insurrection of January 6th, and is reelected anyway, just as Hitler, after getting out of jail, was elected to a minority party position, but they needed him to form a coalition in government. And so he became part of the government, and then the Reichstag fire happened, and he used that and a campaign of propaganda against communists to get them to elect him both chancellor. And then the Reichstag fire was on February 27th, 1933, and by March 23rd of the same year, less than a month later, the German Reichstag, their Congress, passed the Enabling Act that enabled Hitler and the Nazis to take on dictatorial powers by allowing them to rule by decree. In 2025, in the first 4 or 5 weeks after being elected president again, Trump has passed no legislation, because he can't write or pass legislation, but our Congress, like the Weimar Republic is the right way to say it, is not doing anything. They're enabling him to rule by decree, by executive order in this case. And in the same fashion that Hitler immediately began to pass whatever laws he needed, and by decree, and declare that there's only one party and there's only one way to look at it, and it's his. Mr. Trump is doing the same thing. Our Supreme Court also said basically that the president is above the law, and he has said, and in his latest decree on February, yesterday was the 18th, he passed he's posted on Truth Social the day before on Sunday that if you're trying to save America, then there's nothing that's you can't be charged with a crime effectively if you're trying to save America. And then he passes again. I keep using the word pass. He didn't pass crap, but he put out another one of his little executive orders that said the only people who can interpret the law was the executive, the president, and his Department of Justice. Gee, dictator much? And I've seen videos all over this app and others talking about all these Congress people who oppose him, but they're not doing anything. Just like the Weimar Republic, they just got pushed out, and that's the way it is. Of course, even going back further, and both are going back to the Germans and then forward to Trump. We have things like the mass deportations, whether there's actually that much mass to it or not. He's at least found his scapegoat, just as the Jews were the scapegoat. The purge of anybody who's not loyal to him by whatever means necessary. Think the national service reform that was in Nazi Germany in 1935, and where they fired all the Jews and anybody else they considered to be less than pure, and the corruption that came with that. Think 2025, Doge, not even a real thing, but mass firings of people who they think are wasteful, even though they have no idea. Folks, we're watching the playbook be worked out just straight through. And just like the citizens of Germany in the 30s and 40s, well, I didn't know. Bullshit. Yet you're seeing it, you just don't want to look at it. You believe every lie. I'm sure that whatever, if there's a hell or whatever, I'm sure that Goring and Goebbels are just laughing their behinds off about how we're doing, how successful that the current Trump administration is at propaganda and making dummies believe anything. I don't even know what to say anymore. Just going to stay warm and hang out today and watch the shit show.